We have created your AWS account and we have enabled Source Cloud Voice. Let's set up your contact center. And the first step is to assign the right permission set. So you'll have to provide contact center admin permission set. And when you click on assign permissions, it will take you to the permission set page and you can just search for contact center admin. Since we are utilizing the standard version, we'll assign this permission set. I'll discuss this partner telephone in the next videos. So I'll click on contact center admin, where you can click on manage assignments, where you'd be able to assign the permission set to a user. So I'll click on add assignment. You'll be able to find the list of users. You can find your user here and then you can click on next, assign, and done. So now I have some additional permissions where I'll be able to create a contact center or maintain the contact center. So that is what we did now. Now next thing is like creating a contact center. I'm gonna click on new. Just gonna type an ABC contact center. You can name anything based on region. And this doesn't like accept space or like special characters. Your naming should be like common. Now for a specific reason, I'm gonna always try to name it in small characters so that it is easier for me a little later. So you can see that it includes only alphanumeric characters and it should begin with a letter. And I'm gonna choose US West as a region and I'll click on next. Since I had a contact center admin permission, I can see all my user already here. I'm just gonna tell the setup that add my user by default and I'm gonna click it done. So it says that we are building your contact center. It will take few minutes and then we'll send you an email. So the reason that Service Cloud Voice comes with additional setup is because Salesforce manages everything for you, where it is kind of a pre-setup that it will manage everything for you. You don't have to like do anything. So what happens here behind the scenes, it's that it will create a contact center, it will create S3 buckets, it will create all related lambdas, and everything comes as a bundle version for you. So you'd be able to utilize it on the go within like very minimal time. And if I switch back here, what happens behind the scenes is that when we created a contact center, we chose a region along with a name. Similar to that, a provisioning job kicks in that hits the same AWS account, creates your Connect instance. Along with that, there are a lot of resources which are provisioned and maintained by Salesforce with the help of CloudFormation template. So earlier we have seen that it utilized North region CloudFormation templates to create and manage your AWS account. But for it to manage your contact center, it uses all the CloudFormation templates in the region that you have chosen, which I'll show you in a moment. And there are like multiple stacks that comes into play. That's how like Salesforce manages its features right now. All the related services are provisioned along with creating a contact center. This is what happens in AWS. Similar to that, in order for you to manage all this within Salesforce, you'd be able to see a new setup feature called contact center, which I'll show you. Along with that, connected apps are also created within Salesforce. Now, let's say if I switch to AWS and if I switch the region to Oregon, which I created my contact center. Now let's see what Salesforce is doing behind the scenes. I'm gonna refresh my screen. Can I ask the stacks are created? Let's wait for a minute or two because the setup part takes a lot of time. Switch to Oregon region and you can see that there are multiple stacks that got created, and this is your primary stack based on your contact center name, and other are like nested stacks. So this is where Salesforce creates and maintains all of its resources. Again, like when you click on it, you can see the status and what are all the events that has happened and what are all the resources that it created in AWS. Don't make any changes here unless like you know what you're doing, or is it absolute necessary? If in case that you're completely new and you don't want to really mess up anything here, you can directly reach out to Salesforce support where they'll be able to help you on the next steps. So now I can see that all my resources are created. So I'm going to quickly check if my connect instance was created or not. And I'm going to start this and I'll open the connect. And when you switch between like different services, just make sure that you are in the right region. So I was in the Oregon region. I can see the contact center was created here as well. So I'm going to quickly check if my user is also added. And let's see. It is redirecting to connect instance. Good. And I can go to user management and I can see if the user that I added is added here, right? So left hand panel is where you'd be able to navigate between other resources in connect instance, and you can see users, and I switch to user management is where I can see my user was added. So if you remember, while creating the contact center in AWS, uh, there was a pop-up where I added a user, hence the user was added here. So I'll close this, and this is still my root user. I'll switch back to AWS, and if I refresh my screen now, and if I just type in voice here, you can see there is a new feature called as like Amazon Contact Center, and I can see my contact center got created here. When I click on it, you'd be able to see further more information here. First panel is where it displays your details, where you can see the contact center name, API name, when was it created, who's your provider. We'll discuss all of these a little later. You can see the contact center version, and pretty much like I've added a user here, so I can see that as well. Now we have seen there were like couple of permission set when we tried to create a contact center. One was like contact center admin. So let's deep dive into like what are all the different types of permission set. So anything that is in blue is a standard permission set that is provided by Salesforce. The other color is where a custom permission set where you'll have to manually create it. So first is where there are like permission sets that are related to the licensing part itself. So if you're using Service Cloud Voice with Amazon Connect, you can use these two permission sets. If you're using partner telephony with Amazon Connect, then you'll have to use these two permissions. So pretty much there are three permission sets. One is for admin, agent, and supervisor. I haven't added supervisor here. It is just for like admin and agent right now. So I've added contact center admin because I'm using Service Cloud Voice with Amazon Connect. If in case that you are bringing in your own Amazon Connect instance, then you'll have to assign yourself with contact center admin partner telephony. Or if in case that you want to add agents to the contact center, then you can assign relevant permission sets and then add them to the contact center. Now I'll show you another thing here that I've assigned contact center admin. This is specifically for Service Cloud Voice with Amazon Connect flavor alone, where this permission set, which is called Service Cloud Voice permission set, gets default added to the user when you add them to the contact center. So this is an admin user. So when I added that user, you can see that Service Cloud Voice permission set got automatically added to this user. That's because I've added user to the contact center, and when I add a user to the contact center, this permission set gets added by default to the user. But we don't have that permission set when you're using bring your own Amazon. This is kind of a product gap right now, and Salesforce is aware of it, where in such cases you'll have to create a custom permission set. I'll tell you like what is the use of this permission set in the upcoming videos, but you'll have to create a custom permission set and you'll have to manually assign to the user if you're using Service Cloud Voice with Amazon Connect, where you're bringing in your own Amazon account. But if your Amazon account is managed by Salesforce, this permission set is like automated by Salesforce, where this permission get assigned to the user automatically. Now this is where specifically for like admin and agent, for admin user, you can assign contact center admin permission set, add the user to the contact center. This permission set get automatically added. But for this partner partner telephony part, you'll have to manually assign it. Same goes with agent, where you'll have to add the user to the contact center. This gets automatically added, but this permission set that you'll have to add it manually. Now let's see how do we create a permission set, or like how do we assign it to a user. So I'm gonna quickly navigate to permission sets. I can click on new. I'll see SCV BYOA because like I'm running in my own Amazon account, and then like I'm just gonna save this. So when I say how do I assign a permission set, there are two ways. Either I can go to the permission set, click on manage assignment, and I can click on add assignment and add a user here or like multiple users here, and then like I can click on assign it. So this is like an additional step that you'll have to do if you're using Service Cloud Voice with partner telephony. I'll switch back to voice just to ensure that I have my Amazon contact center. Cool. Now there's one other key feature that we'll look into is the settings. So this is where when I told that the very first step that all my metadata from Salesforce is transferred to AWS. Now let's look at it. So all your identity related information in AWS is stored in IAM. So I go to IAM, and if I go to identity providers, you'll see an identity provider called Salesforce Service Voice IDP. And when you click on it, you can see that this is your Salesforce URL and all this information are there, and you can see that download metadata or replace metadata. So this is the metadata that it got created in Salesforce that gets updated here. So if in case you're wondering what happened here, is that when you enable identity provider, you can actually download this identity provider, like the download metadata would actually generate a file, and that file gets uploaded here, and this is automated by Salesforce. That's the reason that this was kind of a prerequisite. Only if it is enabled, the rest of the setup would follow. If it has not, then this would actually fail. So the same certificate information is transferred here, which will be utilized for your single sign-on. So when I say single sign-on, how do I ensure that I'm able to do a single sign-on? So I can click on this settings. When I click on this settings, you can see that it navigated to IDP URL. It is navigating to AWS. And if you have the right permissions, you will land it in Connect page. So this is my Amazon Connect page. So if you see there, I was actually going into Amazon Connect and then clicking on the instance, and I was logging into Connect instance. But here, since I was already a user here within Salesforce, I was able to navigate to AWS instance here. So the key information here I want you to understand is in the top side URL, you can see Rajiv Udemy at the org ID prod, which is kind of my root email. But here you can see that Raj at 005 at 00D, which means that the user that I've logged in here versus like logged in here are like completely different. That's the reason that I'm using two different browsers, or you can use an incognito window. When you try to access the same instance within the same browser, there will be a conflict between the user that you're trying to log in versus the root user or an IAM user that you're trying to log in. So always ensure that if in case that you're logging with your root user credentials or IAM user credentials, you're using a different browser or you're logged in via incognito browser. Now here I've logged in as my user who's like an admin, so that's why I'm still able to access all these features. But as a agent, if I log in, I won't be able to see all this actions because like my security profile might be different. How do I see the security profiles? I go to users, I can see the security profiles, but there will be list of like standard profiles, and you can also create a custom profile. Where I am an admin user here, so I have access to everything, but you can also have agent, also call center manager is equivalent to supervisors in Salesforce. So my SSO is also working. That's because like everything is automated within Salesforce while provisioning this org. Hope this helps. We'll meet you in the next video.